which came up, thanks to NDLEA.
Okay.
Okay, let's touch our next story. You remember what the late First Chancellor of Germany, Otto von Bismarck, said about politics? It is not an exact science. Theorists have let it be known that politics is a behavioral science. The national chairman of the Labour Party, Mr. Julius Abure, has rejected the meeting of the party convened by Abia State Governor, Dr. Alex Otti. In a statement issued at Abuja on Thursday, a chieftain of the party, Obiora Ifo, the party insisted that Governor Otti and others who converged at Umuahia for the supposed meeting have no power within the party's constitution, the Electoral Act, and the 1999 Constitution as amended to convene a meeting. In fact, an expanded stakeholders meeting is not known to the constitution of the party, he said. Of a truth, the teething troubles of the Labour Party are far from over. Now let's share the story again by our news anchor, Nnenna Gabriel. Let's go there.
Recently, the Labour Party has had existential problems. This meeting is convened to solve these problems, as well as chart a way forward for the party. The Labour Party has known no rest after the general election. Some members, even during the elections, claimed ownership and headed to the courts, causing the party and its supporters to remain confused. But to settle all the issues, the Labour Party stakeholders, led by the only governor flying the party's flag, Alex Otti, and their presidential candidate, Peter Obi, the vice presidential candidate, Dati Baba Ahmed, are gathered to see how fences can be mended.
And I want to assure you and reassure you that my intervention in hosting this meeting today is to solve the problem which you all know.
We're not trying to set up another leadership. No, we're not trying to do this. It's just a system that will help to get to where we're going. That's what we want to do. Not another group that can become a problem for everybody, but a group that will solve the problem.
The leadership resolved to set up a 29-member committee to be chaired by former Minister of Finance, Nenadi Osman. She is saddled with the responsibility of repositioning the party for the forthcoming off-cycle elections. All the stakeholders are optimistic that this action is a positive development and will help in building the party to an enviable position.
We have to put hands together to make sure that we put back our party in its rightful position.
The party also resolved to encourage members to withdraw all pending litigations against the party in court.
My name is Nigeria. I believe in Nigeria. And when people say my Nigeria don't approve to us, I said, well, it's we that allow everything to happen. People, the followers of LP should take ownership of the party.
In the 29-member committee have 3 members each from Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress, 3 senators, 4 House of Representatives members, among others. However, absent from the meeting were the party chairman, Julius Abure, his deputy, Lamidi Apapa, and others in their camps. The stakeholders say they are committed to building a stronger and better Labour Party and solving its problems. Nnenna Gabriel, TVC News On.
Many thanks, Nnenna. Charles, honest, after listening to the report, I cannot but agree that politics is not an exact science.
I agree with you. But this, I think, you may be shocked for me you may be shocked if I say that I've gone through certain reports, and also I also have to dig into a certain session of the Labour Party constitution.
Yeah.
I think I personally support Abure in this. I will tell you why. Even beyond nomenclature. For instance, I think if you look at sections 11 and 12 of the LP constitution, there's no such nomenclature as expanded stakeholders meeting. And there's also nowhere a sitting governor of the party can call a meeting that has national outlook, because he is the leader of the party on the state level, at the state level I met. But you can't be the leader of a party at the state level. You're not calling a party that has to bring all national, whatever stakeholders together. That's where Abia is talking about. Now, the party has about 12 organs. Okay, 12 organs in the LP. The 12 organs are, I think, national. I'm trying to look at their names now. You have the, okay, good. I think I have it here. National Executive Council. You have the National Working Committee, you have the Board of Trustees, and then you have state congresses. All these 4 organs at the national level are also replicated both at the state level and the local government, making it 12. Now, there are ways that I've spelled out how meetings should be convened, who should convene meetings. So for me, if Otti has said he wanted to host them, maybe to bring about rapprochement to the party, because the party right now is in need of political vaccine in order to keep it alive. But we need opposition, no doubt. But for the fact that you want to bring or harmonize or rescue a party from self-destruct, doesn't mean you have to go what is against the constitution that runs the affairs of the party. As I said, either section 11 or section 12 of the Nigerian Labour Party constitution has no room for expanded stakeholder meeting. Only the meeting that they can hold at the National Executive Council meeting, National Working Committee, the BOT meeting, and then the state executive. Those are the meetings, and there are spelled out guidelines on how to call for those meetings and who should do that. So I think that Otti should have used another method to say, okay, I want to host them being an elder of the party. So that's why I said I support Abure in this.
BKO, from the story, I think I read something like a 29-member committee will be set up to try to save the internal wranglings in the party. So isn't it too early in the day for the LP that brought a lot of promise to be experiencing these teething problems?
You know, Labour Party in many ways is not different to the political parties that we've had.
See.
Who are the people in Labour Party?
Same people.
Former members of the PDP, former members of APC, you know? And that's why when some people thought that Labour Party, that the members or their elected representatives came from the moon. We saw what happened when they were told to not take those SUVs at the National Assembly.
Okay.
They told Abure that I was talking nonsense, that this is their vehicle, they will take it. Not one member of the Labour Party in the National Assembly rejected his own.
Okay.
So what are we talking about?
If only to make
these are people. They used to be in. They just for a lot of them, you know, the nature of politics in our country is not really ideological. Today you can see somebody who is extremely conservative finding himself in APC, and that person will call himself, "Oh, I've joined a progressive party." How?
Yeah.
How? You know,
are you yourself progressive?
What the point, which by nature, all of those parties are not really different ideologically to themselves.
Yeah.
Let's not kid ourselves here. So, Abure has been struggling now for over a year to keep his position. He's accused of corruption. He's accused of forgery, all kinds of crimes. He's been blamed for committing all kinds of crimes. Now, he's battling to keep his position. Elements from Labour, that's NLC, they are desperate to hijack the party. They even went as far as picketing the premises of the Labour Party headquarters.
Exactly.
You know? Now, the obedience, those loyal to Peter Obi, they see themselves as constituting the majority of members of the party. They also want to take control of the party. The convention, the national convention that I held.
Talking at the party from all sides.
Yes, everyone is like a buffet. People bring big plates. When you go to a buffet, they fill their plates. They show their greed. Everyone, Abure is struggling now to retain control. And the way things are going, they are going to eventually take that party from him. Because with the governor coming out, the governor had earlier announced that he will convene this meeting. Abure said, no, you cannot do it. Anybody who tries to do that, the party will subject that person to discipline and all that. That has not happened. Abure is saying that the person who is to head the caretaker committee of the party, Esther Nenadi Usman, former Minister of Finance, during the Obasanjo regime, is not even a registered member of the Labour Party. So what Labour is doing, let me tell Nigerians what Labour is trying to do. Labour is trying to organize a national convention. They do not believe in the national convention that Abure organized the other day, which the INEC didn't even attend. So they want to organize a new national convention and make the party have a much more national outlook, with Hausa, Fulani people holding positions. I mean, just spreading positions across the length and breadth of our country, so that when 2027 politics begins to gain, people can now see them as an alternative to the PDP, because they know that PDP is still there, but they are trying to see that in the grand scheme of things, when they start discussing, then the North can see it as an alternative. This is the grand plan. Abure, they will eventually dislodge Abure from the party headquarters. I know that this will be the next plan. Abure will go to court. The courts may support him, but it takes time before judgment is delivered. And during that time, you ask, for how long? The biggest problem he faces now is the fact that Obi, who used to support him, has now gone to join these people. With Peter Obi joining them, Abure is like fish out of water. His days are numbered.
All right.
And I suspect that Obi will be able to convince him that, look, gentlemen, this thing, enough of this wahala now. Let's just do this in the interest of the party. Okay, then.
We'll take a breather. We have a commercial break now. But please don't go away. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Thank you.
And cable, great quality, now with the new look.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. As we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your morning. With our hybrid all-in-one inverter, powering our prosperity and happiness.
Sustainable future, breaking the shell. Start time solar.
But also nurture what is dear to us, powering trust and support. Empowering us to do things that really matters. Start Times Solar. Power your life.
All right, welcome back, folks. We're still talking politics in this case, the Labour Party. BKO, you know, yes, it's today Abure. Tomorrow, who knows? Lamidi Apapa is waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I don't even know. You see, the party, in some states, the party is already broken into factions. You go to those states in the coming governorship election, they already have 2 candidates. And for a party like that, you do not expect that some of the terrible things that the older parties have done is what we'll see Labour Party doing, because the young people were clearly serenaded by Labour Party. And they felt, look, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Now, today, they can see that what is going on does not really make them happy. But as I said earlier, Abure will fight and fight, but ultimately he will have to give up the fight, because the forces ranged against him are formidable. And in the past, he could hang on the fact that he had Peter Obi's support. Now, that was why he came out to say Peter Obi is the candidate for 2027. With 2027 so far away, you already declared that Peter Obi was the candidate. He did that to keep the support of Peter Obi, you know. But today, Peter Obi has been forced to come out and join these people. You also saw his deputy, Baba Ahmed. They've gone to that place. So the convention that he had, not one big person in the Labour Party attended that convention. And the INEC also stayed away for reasons best known to INEC. So that already has created a kind of credibility crisis for him. And I know that his days are numbered. No matter, he can cite all the laws, all the sections of our constitution, or the Electoral Act. Invariably, when this kind of forces are arranged against you, you know that you can try, but
and in politics, anything is possible.
Yeah, anything possible. I see.
Yeah, Charles,
what is possible in this case is that Abure will go.
Okay.
It's not, because if anything is possible, then we're assuming that he can survive. This one, he cannot survive.
Well, he should have seen it coming, Charles.
He should have.
But when Lord Acton, it was who said, power corrupts. But let me adjust that to read, power corrupts. The fear of losing power corrupts. Absolutely.
That's why they've now become berserk and running like a bull in a China shop. If I can't get it, then nobody else gets it. That's exactly where it ends. But again, I think what the greatest undoing of Labour was the inability of that party to be able to capture that momentum of the obedient movement. Sustain, because you had what they call an organic membership, organic followership. So as you had Labour Party, you had the obedient movement. So if the Labour had been able to... Two strong elements. Well, no, one was stronger. Labour wasn't too strong, but obedient was strong.
Yeah.
So if the weaker element, which is Labour, had been able to, look at the political value, the electoral value of the obedient movement, they would have been able to look at it and start registering them to be card-carrying members of that party. By now, those people would have been what I call stakeholder of that party. Obedient movement are not stakeholder party. They are just followers of Obi. Answer Obi, they are not members. So a friend of mine told me, said, look, I'm not an LP member. I am an Obi. I said, what's the difference? I said, well, I'm not a card-carrying member. I wish they had done that. Maybe that would have been able to save Abure from all those things.
Even if they did that,
yes,
it will have hastened
the removal,
decimation.
Of this,
because that group
was very powerful and
wants to take control of the party. So if they had registered, it would have made it even easier for them to take control of the party.
I wish them well. Anyway,
these are very trying times for almost everybody who says he or she belongs in a party. Okay, to our last but not least story. These are very tough times indeed. The mark of a government is how it responds to situations, given the anxiety of Nigerians over the hardship generated by a rising price of a liter of the premium motor spirit or petrol. The federal government has jumped into the fray. It assures that there is sufficient supply of petrol in the country, and that by the weekend, this weekend, the product will be available nationwide. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokpobiri, assures that President Bola Tinubu is deeply concerned about the hardship Nigerians were facing, even as he hopes that the situation would cease as soon as distribution stabilizes. Again, Lokpobiri added that the federal government was not fixing prices as the sector was already deregulated. Nigerians should avoid panic buying, he advises. First, let's hear from the Minister of State.
Products available in the country, and we believe that between now and the weekend there will be availability of products across the length and breadth of the country. The price could be high in some other areas, much more higher in some other locations, in some locations much more than other areas. But we believe that by the time there is availability of products across the country, the price itself will stabilize.
The regulator is ensured that there's increased operating hours from all loading depots. Vessels are being cleared promptly, and extended hours where safety can permit for truck outs as well. More importantly also is the reinforcement of the support being given to local refiners, because with increased production from them, indeed, like the minister has said, there will be higher supply, which will stabilize the price.
Welcome back. BKO, these are trying times.
Yes, the federal government is assuring us that they have enough petrol, and that by this weekend things will begin to ease. Now, that's what Nigerians want to hear. It's unfortunate that in spite of rising prices of petrol, product availability is a big problem, and it's inflicting serious pains on our people. The NNPC should do its best to ensure that people do not have to waste man hours in filling stations, some of them sleeping in filling stations. This pain has to stop, and I expect that just as the minister has made this assurance, that we'll begin to see changes. I don't know when exactly product rollout from Dangote refinery would happen, when NNPC and other marketers will begin to take product from Dangote. But from the evidence that we have, Dangote refinery is ready. This is a sample of premium motor spirit. You can see
petrol. That's popularly known as petrol.
This is petrol from Dangote refinery that was sent to me this afternoon. You can see it's almost crystal clear.
Yeah, like water.
Quite unlike some
one we are used to.
Yes, what we are used to.
Yeah.
Usually close to yellow,
yellowish
and red in those days, the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
The petrol that we used to buy in surface.
You pump it in.
Yes, they were usually red. So it depends on the refiner.
Who's refining?
I have been told that apart from aviation kero, that the color is consistent. Other products, you can see variation in color. This is Dangote diesel.
That's even
this
more.
Is Dangote diesel.
That's pure.
Normally, you see diesel.
A bit colored or like blackish.
Blackish.
Yes, exactly.
But again, the sample from Dangote refinery, as you can see here, is almost like water.
Like water.
You could
water, really.
Even PMS, as you can see,
it looks pure.
It's deeper. It's deeper in color.
Yeah.
But this is just like
the
color of water.
Yeah.
Water has color, the richness of the water. So we are waiting. The pains have to be assuaged Nigerians are going through a lot, and I hope we can do something.
We can't wait for that.
But sorry, can I quickly push in something?
Just to say that we'll go to join our friend at Abuja, Calvin Emmanuel. Okay. But before then, hold on. That the sector has been deregulated. The man on the street, does he understand that language?
Well, deregulated means that you are not in control of the pricing. If you got yours from Akwa Ibom, and then you ferry it to Lagos. I mean, there are markups. Okay, there are whatever is going to maybe the transportation, the checkpoints on the road. So you build all those into it, and then whatever it appears here at, then you need to also mark it up for your profit. So different from somebody who got his from Djibouti, and so now the deregulated means that anybody can sell at whatever price depending on the sources that they have brought to. That's exactly. So government, the regulation of you must sell, I mean, parity of pricing has been eliminated. That's exactly what the bus stop economics should know. But again, what I'm technically about this thing is I'm not professional in that. What would it be? What will it serve the engine? Engine has been used to colored petrol, I don't know. That's my worry. Okay, they smell it.
No, not everything that they brought in was metal.
Well, part of it that time.
You saw the color.
Yes.
Some of us saw light yellow.
That's yellow. Yes.
Yeah. So it does not really. It doesn't mean that because this one looks crystal clear.
Yeah.
That it is the only product that is good enough for.
No, I'm talking about mixing the yellowish and mixing the crystal clear. I mean, I don't know. That's what I want to know.
Chemists.
That's what I'm saying. So, I hope somebody will answer that question in the days to come. Anyway.
Okay, time to join our friend up Abuja, up country. Is the economist Calvin Emmanuel. Calvin, good evening to you.
Good evening, Calvin.
Good evening. Thank you so much for
what's your
what can you tell us
of what's going on? Product availability. People are saying that ultimately, if the sector gets totally deregulated, it will impact possibly on prices. What's your evaluation of what's going on?
Well, first of all, I'm smiling at you, Luke, and bringing out the sample of the petrol, because this is the first time in 40 years plus Nigerians are realizing that the color of diesel is not. It doesn't look like grease, and the color of real Euro V petrol, Euro V 95 octane and sulfur for about 10 parts per million, which is way better than the regulated standard by the Nigerian law, which is 50 ppm for sulfur, and way better than the ECOWAS framework of 250 parts per million for the Economic Community of West African States. For the first time, Nigerians are realizing that the color of diesel is not grease. Diesel is clear. And that the petrol and diesel that is going to be rolled out from the Dangote refinery in the coming days, can compete anywhere in the world. It can compete in the US. It will clear out Environmental Protection Agency standards, Association, American Society for Testing and Materials, Colonial Masters Testing standards. It can compete with the European Union EN 227 standards as set by the European Union of 27 member countries. It's important to note, I want to talk about quality first before I come to the PIA and talk about the dynamics of the midstream and downstream oil and gas sector in Nigeria. You see, the petrol that Nigerians have been consuming for years and we import into Nigeria, it's important for us to understand that it will not be accepted. And anybody who attempts, any company who attempts to bring those products into North America, into Western Europe, will be sanctioned. As a matter of fact, early this year, the European Union banned the transshipment and blending of off-spec adulterated petrol that was brought into countries like Belgium and the Netherlands for curing, like they've done with Malta. Because you have situations where bad off-spec petrol from Russian refineries goes to Malta for curing with chemicals and is brought into Nigeria, and for some weird reason is allowed into the country. So the question is, what is the regulator NMDPRA doing about it? Okay, now let me now come to the PIA. The PIA in sections 205 up down until sections 215 talks about the fact that post PIA 2021 that was signed by the immediate past president, that the downstream sector on pricing is supposed to be deregulated, which means that the government is supposed to hands off control. But we have to understand that Nigerians are facing like a nightmare currently. Today as we speak, if you look at the CPI basket, 52% of what Nigerians spend money on is on food. 17% is on energy. That 17% contributes to the 52%. Okay, because you need fuel and diesel to transport, and it contributes a lot to production of food, you know. Then, if you look at the fact that NNPC controls most of the imports of petroleum products, because most of the independent marketers don't have access to FX to be able to bring in products into Nigeria, and based on the PIA, where NNPC is supposed to control only 30%, they control 100%. And NNPC, out of that 100% they control, they have what they call like a crude oil swap arrangement in modified carrier agreements, where they exchange Nigeria's crude oil under what they call the crude oil intervention stock for domestic crude oil supply obligations to get PMS, which in my opinion doesn't make any sense, because what you're doing is you're simply giving out Nigeria's crude oil, which you're supposed to sell to get FX, or give to the local domestic refiners according to sections 109 of the PIA, in exchange for getting PMS, which is only 43% derivative when you refine a barrel of crude oil. So that's why you've had a situation, for example, where today as we speak, NNPC owes $6.8 billion to international traders, and most of them have their vessels, their tanker vessels, offshore and financial hold, and they are refusing to discharge to Nigeria. So, you know, today you have a situation where the most credible solution to Nigeria's scarcity of petrol is the Dangote refinery. It's working, it's been tested, it started producing. In fact, it started producing higher distillates, and you can see the sample in the studio that the refinery is finally ready to roll out products. So the question we have to ask is, why is there like a dilly-dally between NNPC and between State House and between Dangote refinery on one side is saying, okay, we need to hear from the government, because only the government, based on the current realities in Nigeria, ignoring the PIA, can set the price of PMS, because the government can say, oh, you know what, Dangote is not responsible for setting price of PMS. We need to have an agreement on how this is going to work. You know, and the government is saying that, oh, well, NNPC is saying we're going to wait until September 15th, which is the date that Dangote refinery is given. Well, Dangote refinery is ready to start rolling out products. Where is NNPC? The State House has not clearly given an instruction to NNPC to say, you know what, we're deregulating this market, because the State House understands that there are political consequences for petrol price going above the current regulated price. As a matter of fact, petrol filling stations across Nigeria, they've adjusted their meter. This morning, I bought 60 liters of petrol for my car at 945 per liter. I'm not complaining, because I understand the dynamics and the complexities of the midstream and downstream sector in Nigeria. You know, but how many people in Nigeria can afford that? So the question is the government going to ask NNPC to send out a press release expressly stating that we've deregulated the market, or is the government going to apply an under-recovery on that? And even if it's going to apply an under-recovery, and this is where it gets tricky. Only people who stay in Lagos and Abuja are going to enjoy the benefits of that. And the reason is because, number one, Nigeria doesn't have functioning petrol pipelines around the country that can distribute and evacuate petrol from major terminals, number one. Number two, if you're going to take products through batches across the rivers, from Lagos to the Niger Delta, to Onne, to Calabar, you're going to take products to Bonny River Terminal, you're going to take products to Onitsha. You know, I don't think there are access routes for you to take products all the way to Yola, Damawa. At what cost are you going to have it? If you're going to truck products, at what cost are you going to have it? You don't have a petroleum equalization fund. Okay? Nigeria doesn't have, and this is why I've always been complaining about the fact that
Kevin, we don't have so much time. how soon do you think, because what we were told was that Naira for crude will take off in October.
Yeah.
Given the supply hiccups that we have, do you envisage that this can happen quickly?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on on the government. I think the ball is on the government's court. If the government is able to supply Dangote refinery the feedstock it needs, right now at about 72 to 75% capacity utilization, it needs anywhere around 15 million barrels of crude oil per month, about 500,000 barrels of crude oil per day to be able to function. If the government is able to supply and keep to the terms of sections 109 of the PIA that says that the government can either supply to the domestic refiners in dollar or in naira, so that you don't have to hedge your pricing when you're delivering the products in US dollars, which in my estimate will cost you anywhere between 55 cents and about 80 cents per liter, then the government and the refinery can sit down on the table and structure out a pricing template for the public. Well, it depends on the government. I think the ball is on the court of the government to decide.
Well, Kevin, I have a question based on what you just said. Well, I personally am confused because if Heineken Lubobiri has told us that the pricing or the price of fuel have been deregulated, on the one hand, we are still waiting for Dangote saying it's waiting for government to also do appropriate pricing. So if a product has been deregulated, why wait for government to still fix prices of a product that have been deregulated? Please help me out there, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting that the minister will say that the price has been deregulated, but the minister has not asked NNPC to send out a press statement, being the fact that right now NNPC says that they are the sole buyer from the refinery, expressly stating that the government has officially deregulated PMS in Nigeria, like it did for diesel, like it did for Jet A1 many years ago, and that everybody is free to set a price for it. I saw like an internal memo, an internal document where the SOE sent out to several depots around Nigeria saying that this is the pricing template for different parts of Nigeria. And as a matter of fact, 2-3 days ago, NNPC filling stations in Abuja were selling at about 897 naira per liter. They've adjusted their terminals. Their network from their central control has adjusted their terminals. So the question is, why has NNPC not put out an official press statement to clear the confusion in the market that the market has been deregulated and everybody is free to set the price? Is it unconnected to the fact that NNPC is afraid that the presidency will have political blowback from increasing the price, considering the situation Nigerians are currently going through? The minister has to clear the confusion. He is the one that is in the seat to bring the parties together and hammer things out and clear the confusion. That's why there's confusion. If he's saying one thing on one hand and then he's not taking action on the other hand, then he's causing confusion in the markets.
But Kevin, you and I know that even at 894 or whatever, or 850, it is still not appropriate pricing.
Oh yeah.
Because it is still below the landing cost.
Which is one.
So perhaps because people are already threatening that in October they are going to take to the street, perhaps they are hedging their bet about what should be done, because there is no way Dangote can sell below 1,000 naira per liter, and many Nigerians, if it were to go to maybe 1,300 naira per liter or something like that, Nigerians will not be happy.
Or they will feel betrayed.
Perhaps they are just looking at what can we do at this time. And then based on the PIA, I guess the NMDPRA has something to say about pricing. Is that correct?
Yes, NMDPRA has something to say about pricing. And listen, the price of petrol depends on two things. It depends on, number one, the price of crude oil, which Nigeria doesn't have control over, because Nigeria controls like 1.4 million of about 32 million barrels that OPEC members contribute. Nigeria is like the eighth.
Okay, Brother Kelvin, sorry, Brother Kelvin, time is the master here, and we must go. But we want to thank you very kindly for your intervention. Thank you.
We'll bring him back.
Thank you. We'll bring you back. What you're saying is germane. We have to have an encore. Thank you very much. So, gentlemen, we must go.
But before we go, can I tell you that I bought fuel for now 90 naira here in Lagos?
Are you complaining to me?
No, I'm just telling you so that people can know that I bought at 990.
For our information, thank you very much.
To buy for
990. For me to come here, I bought at 990.
Okay.
To come here.
Send the bills to them.
Well, okay.
Okay, then.
Since you bought for yourself, please buy for me.
No good.
All right, gentlemen, we must go. But dear viewer, if you missed any part of this, not to worry. Later tonight at 11, a repeat broadcast will take your airtime. So join us then. And of course, on Sunday, we expand the fare for you from between 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. Just to also inform you, we are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. On behalf of the Backroom Boys, I am Citizen Jones Usen. Bye-bye now. Take care.